And that's what I want everyone to know is like, if you hate fitness, you just haven't found the right thing yet for you. And you have to keep kissing frogs.
Hey everyone, my name is Pete Ferrari. Welcome to the SuperSelf Podcast Series. Today we are super fortunate to have with us Ellen Barrett. Ellen is a world-renowned fitness pro. She's an author. She's created some of the best-selling and most creative workouts of all time, including Crunch Fat and Burning Pilates and the Yogini workout, which is a cool name. I love that name. Recently co-authored a book called, I think it's 28 Days to, 28 Days to a Lighter Diet or something like that,
Yep.
Ellen?
28
Great.
Days Later Diet, yep.
Super cool. You've been on HSN, you've been on Fit TV. You really have got a pedigree. I could spend an hour going like this, but suffice it to say, you're a beast in the space, and you've got your new you've got this online presence that's called Let's Move. And for anybody that's ever seen this podcast, they know that I am all about action and movement. So Let's Move just hits me right in my soul. So thank you for being here. I'm super excited.
I'm super excited to be here too.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day because our philosophies, obviously we were just chatting before we started recording, but our philosophies overlap like this. And you went to UConn.
I know. That never happens. UConn in the house.
It's so cool. I'm really happy. So you can do no wrong. Just saying. You can curse. You can do whatever you want. You'll be fine. But this is going to be a good day. And love to jump right in. One of the things that I noticed in researching all of the great things that you've done over the 30 years, right? And I've been doing this for 45, but not at your level. You really understand the difference between wellness and fitness. And I think that although similar and hopelessly intertwined, they can be critically different. Would you help us understand kind of at a fundamental level what that means?
Yes. So fitness is part of wellness. Wellness is the big umbrella, and fitness is a component of it. In the 80s and 90s, we were working out for fitness. And it slowly has evolved till now where we work out for wellness. I mean, that's what we should be doing. It should be about our nervous system. It should be about our mental health. It should be about how well we sleep. It should be about our, self-confidence. It shouldn't just be about our bones and our muscles and our cardio. So wellness is the big umbrella. And fitness is a part of it. And you've got to keep your eye on the prize. You got to keep your eye on the whole wellness umbrella, not just one component.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more because, especially as I've gotten older, the wellness component figures in, right? Because I sleep like shit, right? And so there are things you can do as you get older to sleep a little better in accordance with the fitness and how things change and evolve. And the mental health component that carries along with it, this wellness and how it figures into fitness is really important. When I was coming up in the 80s, we just went to the gym, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I played lacrosse and I was a power lifter. We did fitness to get strong. I didn't understand. Well, I understood because of what I had gone through at a very early age, but it didn't really hit me until later in life how fitness kept me healthy in my mind and in my soul, not just in my body. And it helped me overcome, and it gave me a resiliency that I didn't think I had. It gave me a resourcefulness that I didn't think I had. I had that, that guttural inclination to keep moving in accordance with how I had been training all these years. And I think that's really, that's an important part. And I know that what you do in your world today has a lot to do with that. Tell us a little bit about Let's Move, and then I want to move on to some other things.
So Let's Move is my online program. It's a streaming service. I call it Mindful Movement. And I named it Let's Move because I was saying it, people say, let's party, let's have fun, let's go. And I just thought, wow, let's move. Like, let's have that happy connotation, that excited, it's a privilege kind of connotation. So that's why it's called Let's Move. And it's sort of something I say all the time. But I believe in my formula is barefoot. I really believe in barefoot workouts. Yeah, I've always loved it. And people ask me, why do you not wear shoes? I'm like, why do you wear shoes? Like, and originally, like, I am an OG. I was a teenager when aerobics started, and people didn't wear shoes initially. And then Reebok got in on it and whatever, but it was truly a barefoot thing originally, if you look at the old school stuff. But it's barefoot, it's fusion, because a variety of range of motion is super important. You don't want to do the same thing all the time. It's my version of cross training, but it's also mobility. So we don't want to just be like on a stationary bike all the time, because that isn't really expressing your whole potential and movement. My workouts are also really about feeling good. I want people to invigorate and not irritate. And this is where that wellness thing comes into play. If you cross the line, if you push yourself too much, you irritate, you do damage, and you're harming yourself. You want to stay on that path of invigoration. You can't do that unless you're truly mindful, truly aware of your body, breathing well, and have a good attitude. I tell this story, talking about UConn. When I was a freshman at UConn, my neighbor was in the ROTC. My neighbor in the dorm was in ROTC, and I was such a little fitness bunny. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? And she's like, you can work out with us if you want. And I was like, I would love to. This sounds amazing. I was like a very bubbly kind of like, energizer bunny. And I showed up at the field house, and they're all wearing they had this like army fatigue kind of thing, like these gray kind of things on. And I literally was wearing, it was 1990, and I was, wearing like spandex, shiny spandex. I was like ready to go. I had a headband on, and there was yelling. There was no music. It was like yelling, and it was like competing. They broke people down into teams, and they were competing. And I was super turned off. I mean, it was a real wake up call. I was like, that's fitness? Like, I didn't know. And I just realized like that irritated me, but it wasn't necessarily the actual movement. It was the hyper energy around it. It was, I was nervous about letting my people down. We were doing things too fast. So it's not just the movement, it's the mind behind the movement. And it's also just the energy of like, no one's like, I'm not loose. Like I'm uptight right now. And so that's something I've always tried to avoid. I mean, I remember that to this day, and I've written blog posts about it because it really was this major turning point for me where I really knew I'm not going that way. I'm going this way. I'm going to keep it happy.
Yeah, you just struck a major nerve because you're spot on. And we say this all the time in this podcast. I try to get people to go back and listen to their instincts. When it comes to anything, you've got to go back to listening to your instincts, because now with the advent of social media, there's an idiot on every corner on the internet telling you what you need to do and what you should be feeling. And because of that, we've lost our way. And so to your point, and this is for anybody who's out there doing anything in the way of fitness or anything in the way of wellness, if you're doing something that instinctively doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. Stop doing it, right? I mean, coming up in the 80s, now I'm older than you, so I remember leg warmers. I remember Jane Fonda. You don't know nothing about no Jane Fonda. But anyway, but I remember coming up in the gym in the 80s, you'd have various lifting partners, and they'd want to be going this fast. Let's go, set after set after set. And I was like, yo, no. I knew I was going to hurt myself. I'm going too fast. My shoulder's already going a little tweaky. I knew I needed to stop. I listened to my instincts and said, back off. Or I've had partners who wanted to go super, super, super heavy. I know that's too heavy for me. So it's just like anything else in life. If you're doing something, even if you're trying to take it to another level, you've got to listen to your instincts and do what makes sense to you. What you went through with those ROTC guys made zero sense to you for all the right reasons. Number one, that's not the way we do things, right? Screaming at each other and negative reinforcement. I've never been that guy. If you're going to negatively reinforce me, I'm out. I don't need that in my life. Give me positive reinforcement. You'll get more from me than you could ever dream of. But start giving me shit. First of all, I'm Sicilian. I'm not going to take that too well. But second of all, I'm out. And so it's a great point. You really are saying it's about finding happiness. And that's really, I'm sure you've got a ton of tricks about how to find fitness and health and well-being empowering versus punishing. Right? What are the things we can do so that it doesn't feel like a chore? I'm sure you've got a bunch of tricks up your sleeve as it relates.
You need to learn yourself. And, fitness, fitness and moving helps you learn yourself, because it helps you bring your mind and body to the same place. Even if you're running or you're doing yoga, it's going to help. It's going to get you to sort of be more present in your body. And so it's really important that you know yourself and, you know your tendencies, you know what really hits you right. So, for me, I love working out in the morning. If, I spent years teaching at 9:00 at night when I was in Manhattan, and like there'd be a 9:30 class at night. And I think about that. I was, the whole time I was teaching that class, I was like, I got colds a lot. My immune system was really working too hard and it failed, So, I love working out in the morning. I love being barefoot. I think the pace is going to change day to day, but sometimes, I really like to briskly hike. Some people really like to do sprints and do a walk run combination. You want to feel what's going on, and you're dynamic. So what you're doing now might not be what you do next week or next year. And so we need to adapt and adjust, but we also just need to know ourselves and honor it, right? Honor it. So, some people, a 4-hour hike hurts their hips. It's like too much on their hips, and there's nothing wrong with your hips. What you're doing is wrong. And so people start labeling, oh, I've got bad hips and stuff. Well, maybe a 4-hour hike isn't good for your hips. Maybe you should mix it up. So I think knowing yourself is so important, and always honoring that happy moment, that just right. I always use the mama bear, papa bear, baby bear. You want the porridge to be just right. The porridge needs to be just right. And you can do it. It's very easy. I mean, even in group exercise, you can bend your knee, you can make the movement smaller, you can go slower, you can adjust accordingly so it just feels just right.
You're 100% right about the adjustment. And in fact, if you're in a class, you may do 2 less reps than everybody else.
Exactly.
You've got to know yourself on that. Back to the instincts thing. You've just got to know yourself and what makes you feel comfortable. And that's, because here's the bottom line. If something is a chore, you're not going to do it over the long term. Nobody likes chores. I don't give a shit what they are. I'm getting healthier. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing it. It doesn't work like that. If you're not in touch with yourself, and as you said, yourself is going to change. What I was doing 40 years ago in the gym, I'm not doing today. Right. I've had to listen to myself and adapt and change over time. And to your point, I go to the gym in the morning, and that's the first thing I had to recognize. If I don't go to the gym by noon, it becomes a chore. And I'm going to find some excuse not to go at all.
Well, life gets in the way. The longer the day goes, there's going to be a detour.
Exactly.
To your point too, people think very fit people have more discipline. And I really disagree with that. Fit people have found this, they're very driven to work out and move and eat well because it feels so good. It's the most disciplined people, I said this over the years, that if you ever watched Oprah Winfrey's journey, how she would like wake up at 5 a.m. and have this trainer and run on this treadmill, and like she ran marathons and it was all about losing weight. She has more discipline than I ever had, but she's also miserable. So I never needed to like dredge up a lot of discipline because it was not misery to me. And that's what I want everyone to know is like, if you hate fitness, you just haven't found the right thing yet for you. And you have to keep kissing frogs.
The kiss and frog mentality is perfect. And we talk about it all the time, right? The gym for me, 45 years later, it saved my life when I was young, getting beaten up every day. The gym may not be for anybody else in my atmosphere. They may hate being seen by other people while they're working out, which means by default, what works for them is going to be in their home or in their garage. Oh, fantastic.
Exactly.
Get some bands, put them on the doorknob, and do this 3 sets of 3 twice a week or 2-3 times a week. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it's something and you like it, so you keep doing it. And it's exactly what you said. I don't think I'm the most disciplined person particularly, but I definitely know the difference in how I feel when I'm going to the gym and when I'm running every day and when I'm eating clean versus when I don't. And it's easy to see, right? I mean, I'll pack it on a little bit at the holidays. I can see my moods change at the holidays when I start eating like crap and I overeat just for the sake of overeating. And I'm blowing off the gym today. It's Christmas because, I knowingly kind of take it a little slow that time of the year, just during that period of the year, every year for a little bit of a break. But I can see everything change.
Yeah.
I get grumpy. I sleep crappy. My body aches in places it ordinarily never aches. My skin changes. My skin reacts differently to all the crap. And so if people could ever stay in the pocket long enough, whether it's bands on the door or even just walking around the block, that's going to work. Yeah. If you could stay in the pocket long enough, even 2 weeks, or to your point, 28 days, you will see the same thing. You'll see what changes in your moods and your sleep patterns and your skin when you don't. And then it's not a discipline thing. It's a holy shit. It's this set or this set, right?
Exactly. You're really motivated intrinsically at that point. And that's what that's what a good trainer should do. It should make them be intrinsically motivated. And then they don't need you anymore. And then, it could be virtual. It could be a class. It could be, they're going to go without you. As a personal trainer, I am a personal trainer. I have clients, but the group exercise classes are really what I love most because people show up. You're not booking anything. It's like you really know what you're made of if you just show up. And with personal training, there's a little bit of babysitting involved. There's a little bit of, I paid so much for this, I have to show up. And there is a little bit of that. And with the group exercise, people come if they want to come. If they don't come, they're lost, whatever. And so, so it's that intrinsic motivation that I find is so important. And it's the key to longevity. I think it's the key to success in life as a whole, because fit people are successful people. And if you can't really accomplish your dreams if you feel like crap. And so you really need to move your body. There's no way around it. So find a way to do that.
100%. That actually leads into the next question, but I do want to make a point first because you struck another nerve. The virtual component of what you do is the best because people feel self-conscious. People don't want to be ridiculed. People don't necessarily have the time to go somewhere to get something done. Even for people that would like to do something in the house, but they need that little extra push, what you offer is perfect in that regard. It's perfect. Turn your damn camera off, right? Watch you, but don't let it, you could do whatever you want to get all the benefit of what your expertise is, all the motivation of what you offer, all of the counseling, and you do it right from the comfort of your own home with your dog, just your dog watching you. It's a beautiful situation for somebody who wants to start.
You know what? That's another thing is like, people think gym memberships are lovely and going somewhere is lovely, but for a lot of people, especially moms or people who live in rural areas, it's too much time to get places. And so if you can just do something at your own home, and that's the beauty of modern technology. It's, most people, and I always say this, that people think when people design workouts or they're trying to motivate people at large, they think they're people like you that are already at the gym. But most people out there, they just want to feel good. They want to fit into their clothes and they want to be good moms and good family members. And, they don't want to, they're not interested in, being the next top supermodel. They want to have that functionality and just live a really prosperous life. And so, however, that's why you have to have convenience. People are too busy. You need that convenience. You need to have options. So like when it's snowing out, have something to do. The bands on the door, online workouts, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the big beauty. The big benefit of this is it gives everybody an option. We talk about this all the time, the mind, body, soul connection and how they're hopelessly intertwined. And generally speaking, I'm sure you agree, when life takes over and people get stressed out or they have a long commute or they have a bunch of kids, in the mind, body, soul connection, the body is the first one to go. I can't go to the gym. I can't go 10 minutes one way, an hour in the gym and 10 minutes home. Forget it. It's gone. It's the first thing to go. But people have got to understand that you can't abandon it because then the mind and the soul suffer. Exactly. They're all hopelessly intertwined. And you talk about that a lot. You talk about how movement is the greatest combatant against anxiety and depression.
Yes.
Just movement. And so it's a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and talk about that because I couldn't agree with you more. Movement has saved my life a million times From bankruptcy to divorce to getting my ass kicked, movement has battled the anxiety and the depression that would accompany that, and it's kept me punching. I know you know that better than I do, so let's talk about it.
It's a perfect example of how you've used movement as a tool for your own self-care and your own empowerment and, keeping your head above water. It's totally ignored. I mean, I wouldn't say totally ignored, but people I work at a place where there's teenagers rehabbing from drugs. I teach yoga classes there. And when I see what they do, once they start moving, once they get into their body, you see, and also nutrition too, they start really eating like farm to table kind of food. You see them in a week. They're fixed. They stay there a lot longer, but energetically, they're really fixed very fast. And I mean, kids are so amazing because they do move through things a lot faster than adults sometimes. But my point in saying this is that we need to understand that no one's coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. You need to save yourself. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to do the basic stuff. It's such simple stuff. Clean water, good sleep, a little movement, eat your veggies. Like, this is foundational, and the foundation is ultimately the cure. It's the cure. The other stuff are just sort of helping you deal with symptoms. So yeah, I feel like, just if you look at people after they've taken a walk, they're happier. They're more inspired. It's very subtle. Sometimes it's just like, oh, yeah, I just feel, I'm just better. And sometimes it's the oxygen in your bloodstream. It's the endorphins that you've, set off. I will talk about this till the end of time because it is so powerful. And I feel like it's so simple that it's ignored in a lot of ways. But there's so much research on it, so much. You could just Google it and you'll see people who exercise are less depressed. They don't go on, antidepressants as often. They have a happier outlook. They miss work less. I mean, there's just so many positives. There's literally so many positives.
Yeah, the metrics are crazy, and it's little reported on because you've always got that snake oil salesman around the corner who's pumping his supplements. Buy my supplements and I'll train you for free. There's so many grifters out there that the true purity of this and what it means to a person inherently in their soul is just forgotten or not looked at. But it's so critical. And I agree with you 100%. Especially if you're working with troubled children, the endorphins getting activated on some level, it's like a drug. And it's so exciting that it begins to take over. And once you start to feel good because you're being active, you start to want to be more active so that you can feel good again or longer. Exactly. It kind of takes over. And I say this all the time. If you want to start, just walk around the fucking block once. Exactly. If you weren't before, right? Because what's going to happen is if you walk around the block once a week, you're going to like the way you feel after you walk around. After you walk around the block, all of a sudden you're going to walk around the block twice a week. Then you're going to say, wait a minute, I'm going to do it 3, then 4 times a week. Then you're going to walk around the block twice. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to be like, what if I didn't eat Big Macs today? I wonder what that would do. It's a momentum thing that you described. It takes over. You can feel it. And the most important part about when you feel better is that you're putting that energy out there into everybody in your orbit. Your spouses, your loved ones, your pets, your colleagues, your neighbors. When you're treating them with this better energy because you feel better first, they receive it and then they project it right back onto you, right? You shit on somebody, they get pissed off, they shit back on you. You treat somebody well because you're generally in a better mood or you generally slept better or you're eating better so your pants aren't as tight as they usually are. There's nothing but benefit across the board for everybody in your atmosphere and yourself. And it gains speed. Small steps lead to momentum. Momentums lead to big steps. Big steps leads to a lifestyle. That's just the postulate.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing that you and I, we see these things so clearly. And I think more and more people are starting to see it, starting to see through the bullshit of the false prophets, I call them. The supplements pusher or the guy who's got, you can tell when he's got a big marketing budget behind him. People are getting savvier and savvier with what's going on out there and reading between the lines. That's why I love what you offer because its purity is so obvious when you look at it. And people are just getting smarter. I don't know if it's the advent of AI. So everybody's getting so much more skeptical now because, that's AI, that because they're getting more skeptical, now they're looking for purity on deeper levels. That may be it. I don't know. Yeah. But either way, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks. I do think that people are reading through the BS. And I also think there's, the fakery. I've talked about this a lot. It's like, it's so easy to be kind of fake today. And actually it's rewarded on a lot of levels. Like, but true health isn't about, true health isn't found in like lip fillers. You know what I mean? And, I always say like, I dabbled in fake tans back in the day. And that's like my biggest regret because it's like disgusting. It's like, I want tan from the actual sun, but
vitamin D.
But I want vitamin D because it's true. It's like, so like that I think people are really learning about. I think at least in my world, they appreciate authenticity. They appreciate, a naturalness. And that's my whole thing. Like I'm a naturalist to the end of time. I'm a minimalist and a naturalist. Like I don't even wear shoes, everybody. So,
Are you wearing shoes right now?
I actually am not. I'll show you my foot.
Oh, that's classic. You've definitely practiced what you preach. That's fantastic.
Oh, I totally do. I mean, in the summertime, I work up to this, but I try to go hiking in the woods barefoot, and my feet can be really dirty. But I love being barefoot, and you have to get really desensitized in a lot of ways when you go on the trails like that. But yeah, I'm like ready. I'm ready to live off the grid.
It's a great way to live. I'm sure, especially nowadays, it's getting worse and worse out there.
I know. Yeah, it's a dream.
The pure approach is just, it's so important. And one of the other things that I like that I learned about you, speaking of purity, is you understand that fitness for men and women is in fact different. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm not trying to be a toxic male, but you're 100% freaking right. Come on. Mm-hmm. We're totally, it's just a difference in X, Y, and XX at the bottom line. All right. I'm 10 times stronger than you are. Exactly. I don't care. If you trained MMA and you were a black belt in jiu-jitsu, could you kick my ass? Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just genetic makeup and physicality. We're different. And I would love it if you help people understand with your purity intact how fitness is different for men and for women, because it's relevant. It's important.
It's super relevant. It's a big topic, but just as an example, if you were to go to get a multivitamin and you go to the store and you see the shelf, there's multivitamins for women and then there's multivitamins for men. But we don't take that another step further. So just on our chemistry, we're different. Women have more iodine, women need more iodine, more zinc, like just on a mineral vitamin level. Women have more water in their body. Women's bones are totally different alignment. The knees do not line up with the hips. So when it comes to movement, a marathon or a sprint for a woman could really injure their knees way faster than a man. You look at the injuries in women's basketball compared to men's basketball. It's the women's injuries are always knees. It's like knees. There's like problems. So there's so many things, even with food, like, women's livers are thinner, less dense, can't handle alcohol like a man can. But can't handle as much protein. We can't handle as much protein as a guy can because our livers are not going to function as fast and as, expertly or whatever. So there's so many things, but the mental part, women's goals are really different. Women are trying to be smaller and men in the gym are trying to be stronger and bigger. And posture is a really big thing for women. Women need stronger back muscles and core muscles. Men, need overall strength. So it's apples and oranges. And even, a 10-pound dumbbell for a guy might be a piece of cake. For me, it's a serious, endeavor. So there's just so many things. And the fact that we just, herd men and women into the same, sort of protocol with the same mindset, the same, it's so different. Even cueing as an instructor, I'm going to say different cues for women. They're going to get it a little bit more, And, so it's just really different. It's so different. Plus our nervous systems, I think the adrenals and the nervous system in women, again, more sensitive. So if we are running as fast as we can on the treadmill, a bear is chasing us and we get into fight or flight. Whereas a man, they don't get into fight or flight quite as easily. So it goes on and on. It goes on and on. I mean, it's not to say it's not about doing a squat. It's not about a squat. It's not about a push-up. It's about the duration, the pace, the mindset, the cueing, the modifications. So we are capable of doing the same similar movements, but not in the same way.
That's super interesting. So I always knew about the physicality component, of course, but the mindset component with the fight or flight, I never really thought about, and the cueing, I never really thought about that, but it makes sense. I mean, the stuff that I used to say that I didn't think would piss off my ex-wife and totally pissed her off, her cues are totally different than mine.
Totally different. And you know what else? It's funny too. Women have menstruating women have a 28-day cycle approximately. That whole month is different every day. They have energy certain times of the month. They are really depleted. They're very vulnerable certain times of the month. It's like it's ignored in fitness a lot of the time. And you really need to pay attention to that and adjust accordingly. So, but the thing is, it's a blessing for women too, because you get more sensitive, you get aware, you learn yourself. It forces you to learn yourself. And so that's why the mind-body movement is so important, because women have an opportunity to commune with their own self. And it's just not, they're so busy. People are so distracted and they're outwardly, or they're just being like, oh, I do a spin class every day at 5:30. So that's what I'm going to do. But every day you're different. So maybe that spin class is wrong on certain days. And maybe it's really, really hits perfectly on certain days. So women and men are so different, and they just need to be addressed in different ways for sure.
Yeah, it's a great point. Back to the whole difference between fitness and wellness thing. That spin class may be great, but every day, depending upon what level of wellness you need, maybe it's not so great. And How do we adjust, right? It's catering to that's important. And I agree with you, because it becomes therapeutic more than anything else. I mean, I run every day. If I'm out of time in a particular day and I have to choose between running or lifting, even though I've been a gym rat for 45 years, I'll run, because the running is what's therapeutic for me. I'll start out that run and I may have all the weight of the world's problems on my shoulders, but by the time I'm done with the 5 miles, I've fixed some stuff, and I know what I have to do. And it's really weird, because sometimes I'll fix the problems in the first half mile. It just hits me and I've computed it. Sometimes the answers don't hit me until the last 200 yards, but invariably I get the answers from a therapeutic standpoint and what I need and how I feel and where I need to go. It just happens. It just happens on a soulful level. And to the extent that people can recognize that as they're trying to identify, to your point, what is good for them, then I think we're really going to have something here. And that's where, again, I believe your curriculum comes into play, because you're making sure people are aware of that gigantic and super relevant component while they're getting into that movement. That movement piece of it is taken over. That's really just, it's just, I think it's a beautiful formula. It served me well. It's obviously served you well. I mean, it's just, didn't you say you were a tennis player as well?
Yes, I grew up playing tennis, and I played college tennis at UConn.
Let's go.
Tennis really informed me on a lot of levels, because your fitness is to get, your intention for fitness is to perform better, to win. And so when athletes are really different, because their motivation is their sport. Whereas and I'm now in the fitness world, I don't have that motivation anymore. So now my intention, and for most people out there, the intention is to feel good, to function really well. And so, but when I was a tennis player, did I overdo it sometimes? For sure. Was there training that was really not my cup of tea? For sure. Like the kangaroo jumps on the tennis court. Yikes, not doing that now. But tennis really also, it introduced me to fitness, because first of all, the tennis club was where there was an aerobic class. So I really was exposed to aerobics because I was going to tennis practice. But also there was trainers and there was fitness. And so, you dabble in it. So athletics was my avenue to aerobics and fitness and mindful movement today. So. I'm
It's a
grateful for
great
it.
way to start your life. I mean, I picked tennis for my daughter when she was in the womb because, to your point about finding yourself and the one-on-one, the
Yeah.
one-to-one component and resiliency, there's no better sport other than boxing where you got to figure it out for
Yeah.
yourself when you're on the tennis court. And that was by design for me. I wanted to build this independent athletic thinker that also could do it on her own. It never relied,
Right.
didn't have to rely on anybody, including me. And that's what tennis gave her. Right. I mean, she's everything I ever dreamt or hoped for her with regard to being an athlete. She's found it at 23, and it's really super cool. And I know I'm preaching to the choir because tennis is a special sport. But to your point, anything that gets you introduced to the lifestyle, because once you're introduced to the lifestyle, it takes over. It just does. And then you get your family into it, and then it becomes a family thing. Walk around the block with the family or walk the dog. There's just so many ways to get into this. And I think that's, and we'll talk about one more thing as we close, but I think that's what's really interesting about today is fitness has evolved over the last 30 years, just at an incredible magnitude. Back in the 80s when I was in the gym, there were no girls in the gym in the 80s. Period.
Right.
There weren't any. And back in the 80s in the gym, if you didn't clean up your weights after you were done, the old guys would smack you in the mouth and drag you out of the gym. And you didn't come back until you had manners. There was no calling the cops or telling daddy. You got smacked. You mind your manners, then you come back. I mean, talk about change. Now, there's more girls in the gym for me. I'm in the gym at 4:30 a.m. There's just as many girls or more girls than there are guys. And what we have access to, that's really the important part, is having access to someone like you ubiquitously, no matter where we are, no matter where you are. So just give us a little hint into how that really plays a role into getting started. How much has it changed in the last 30 years, and what an advantage that is to give someone like me access to someone like you, even though you're literally in the top of the country and I'm literally at the bottom of the country right now.
Yeah, so technology is amazing and options abound. That is a positive thing. There's, senior centers have classes, rec centers have classes, libraries have a Tai Chi class, or, there's opportunities now, and there's just so many options, and, I love whenever I go through a town and I see they have like a nature trail, I'm like, oh my God, they invested in that. Or there's like a walking path. I get really excited when I see that infrastructure in a town, because it is so low cost and it has such a huge boon and reward. In the 30 years I've been at it, it's diversified so much, and it's almost like in the industry itself, it's just become a real business. It's become a real industry. People can have real careers. And when I was starting off, I was like patchwork career. Like I taught classes here. I was just trying to make it work. But with that said, it's also sort of bipolar, because there's, really intense, push yourself, heavy weights, and then there's mind body movement, which is like the studio world, the Pilates world, the matcha tea ladies and the yoga studios. And, so it's like, it's really kind of like, there's sort of two kind of worlds. Both of them are awesome for, there's people that go back and forth. There's instructors that started off there and now are there, and vice versa. So it's different strokes for different folks. There's so many opportunities and options. And I think it's really positive. The biggest thing though, and this is really not about the classes or the industry, it's about the consumer, the customer, the population at large is less fit. I mean, people are less fit today. There's way more chronic pain, and I'm doing so many more modifications for, people with knee replacement, people with chronic, arthritis, or, and young people are already, they're entering into it with limitations. Whereas back when we were 18 and 19, we had no limitations when we went to a fitness class or something. So I'm saddened by that, but it's been, so many years of witnessing it. And, but I also have great hope, because I do think the tide is turning. The tide is really turning with the food industry. And I think schools hit rock bottom, like getting rid of gym and stuff. I think that's rock bottomed, and they're now adding more fitness clubs and having more movement. So I feel like we are on the upswing, but I do think that I don't have rose-colored glasses on when it comes to the fitness industry.
No, it's true, because with the advent of the internet, anybody can hang their shingle and say, I'm an expert. And anybody can get certified in about 4 seconds and show up some wannabe certification. It's just too easy. But to your point, thankfully, I just think people are getting smarter because there's just so much noise. People are getting smarter. And to your point about food, we didn't have these ailments when we were kids because the food was clean.
I know.
I mean, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen the TikToks or whatever where it's the general meme where it says, you know, it's the same food I had when I was a kid. And it's ketchup. And when we were a kid, ketchup was like vinegar. It had 3 ingredients.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's 50. It's not the same. And that all that contributes to us being unhealthy and us getting heavier and us getting less fit and us getting less motivated and us getting sicker. It's all this vicious circle. And to your point, I hope the food industry is changing. Even if it's not changing, the one great thing about the internet is folks like you and me can engage in fellowship and help people and teach people. You know, we've got messages that are clear. We've got messages that are forthright and true. Somebody's going to listen. And even if it's one person at a time, I don't give a shit. Let's do it that way if we have to. People are going to get smarter and continue to get smarter. And that's why I appreciate so much what you do, because, again, as I've said it too many times, but there's a purity level component that is sorely missed in this industry. And we're super hard to find. And that's why, again, I'm glad you're everywhere, right? Because you're about to tell everybody how they can find you, and they're going to find you. So, you know, that's just good stuff.
That's awesome. You know, I'm optimistic too, because I think parents have woken up. And, you know, I think, you know, all these, you know, people are working from home a lot now. And I think it's better. I mean, they have their own kitchen. They can make their own meals. I think that there's lots to look forward to. But, you know, like, it is really crazy. How did we get this deep into this? You know, it was just year after year of just getting like deeper and deeper into it. And it's like, but I do think the tide has turned. So for sure.
Yeah, I hope it continues. I hope this ebb continues. It means nothing good but good things for Americans in general, especially the kids. And so we've got to protect the kids, right?
Protect the kids. I mean,
protect the kids.
Every single person should be protecting kids all the time.
Protect the kids. I mean, seriously, it's just, it seems so fundamental, but people get nuts with their newfangled terminology and all the stuff that they want to invoke. It wasn't hard when we were coming up. You left the house in the morning, you came back at night, you got out of line, even the neighbor could whip you. And so therefore you minded your manners. It's just, you know, hey, now I'm really sounding like my grandfather.
When we were growing up, I just think the food was more innocent for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I think there was no screen time. We had 3 channels. My parents were like, we didn't have a VCR until we were like out of the house. And I was like, why are we the last ones to get a VCR? But I think there was just more movement built in because there wasn't a lot of sitting around, and parents let you go out there. You were free to go out there. It was safe to go out there and just play in the neighborhood or whatever. It's just really, I mean, parents now, they're exhausted because they're scheduling their kid all the time and they have to take them to those things. And so that's, you know, it's just harder today, but yeah, I mean, we gotta get moving, gotta turn off the TVs and just get moving, have boundaries with that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty too. I mean, I love me some TikTok. I'm not going to lie.
I know. It's so, and you know, there's positives to it for sure, but it's like the time drain can be tough, but
that's what it is. And I'll tell you one quick story about TikTok, and then I'll have you share with everybody where they can find you. So I got divorced and I had sole custody of my daughter, and I was married for almost 20 years. I never cooked a meal. I mean, my wife was a stay-at-home mom. She cooked. She was a great mom, stayed at home, cooked the meals. Well, now my daughter's a super athlete, right? She can't eat lean cuisine and pizza. I have to learn how to cook.
Right.
TikTok recipes save my ass. Like 2 ingredients and 3 steps. Yes. Meatloaf, whatever. Nothing complicated. No sauteing, nothing. No butter and cream. 2 component, 3-step recipes, and my daughter never even knew the difference. It was good stuff. So TikTok does have its value, but when you're doom scrolling, it's just, that's when it starts to get counterproductive and really start to hurt you. But I learned TikTok taught me some stuff.
That's so good. I mean, it's so true. There is great recipes on social media that you can, and they really sell it to you fast. Like, you get it distinct. You're not like wasting a lot of time. I agree with that. There's so much benefit to a lot of stuff for sure. But eat home cooked meals are really good. Home cooked meals is the remedy to that ketchup with 20 ingredients in it. Like, just make it at home. If you want the dessert, make your own dessert. So you have better sugars, you have, better fats, you don't have seed oils. It's like, but again, it's like the ball's in your court. There's a lot we could do, but just do something, it might not be everything, but do something.
Just do something. One little step, it always turns into one more step to one more step. It always turns into something if you just make that first move. You say, let's move. My big thing is just jump. Just jump.
Yeah.
One step. And that turns into this entire pathway to a better life. It's not shit. If I can do it, I am not the brightest bulb in the tanning bed. If I can do it, anybody can do it. That's really the bottom line. And we've got experts like you that we can rely on, which is critical. I mean, I wish I had you when I was coming up. I didn't have nobody. I had to get smacked in the head by the old guys at the gym.
Right.
Yeah. So we've got you, and we've got to know how we can find you. Please tell us where to find you.
So I'm at ellenbarrett.com, and my online streaming site is on that site. It's called Let's Move, and we offer a 7-day free trial. And it's fun. It's no pressure. There's there's probably 150 workouts now that are all designer, well produced with good lighting, good music. And it's my passion project. I'm like super happy about it. There's some cute names to some workouts, and I just have creative control so I can do what I want.
It's perfect. And you don't have to wear shoes.
You don't have to wear shoes. Shoes are always optional. Always optional. Yeah.
Amazing. I can't thank you enough, Ellen. This has been a really good day for me because, as I mentioned, our philosophies just completely overlap. We have everything in common. I did not know UConn until now. I'm even more infatuated with what's going on here. This is just amazing. But I really, really appreciate your time, and thank you for everything today.
Thank you. This has been great.
Cool. All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, everyone. That brings to a close another episode of the SuperSelf Podcast Series, brought to you by Jocko Rare Sugar. Here, we are going to be helping you discover the truth for all things that surround good health and well-being. We'll be offering you statistical data, clinical trial information that has been evaluated and corroborated so that you can see for yourself that we say what we mean and we mean what we say. Now, while the SuperSelf series is brought to you technically by Jocko Rare Sugar, I don't care if you buy the sugar. I really don't. That's not what this is about. This is about operating as the conscience across the food and beverage industry, across the health and well-being industry, which includes supplements, fitness trainers, and the like. Our goal is to provide you with the stepping stones for your own research, where you can go out and corroborate the things that we say on your own. See for yourself what it means to find a good quality of life that fits in alongside your current lifestyle or your family's lifestyle. I think it's really going to be interesting and fascinating if we take this journey together. And once again, our goal is not just to provide you with data, but to keep it interesting. I've been living a clean lifestyle for 40 years now. I've been going to the gym for almost 45 years, eating clean for 40 years. And so we're going to have a ton of stories along the way about the foibles, the successes, and the failures, but we're also going to provide you with the information that you need to carry on and carry forward. Think about subscribing. We'd love it if you subscribe to us, pass this on to your friends. I think we've got a lot of edgy and interesting podcasts that are upcoming, and we certainly will look forward to any feedback that you want to provide. Until next time, cheers.